For all its good, this world is still also home to a lot of bad. And while a good person can do good by simply being what he or she is, a good person, a certain amount of good time is also applied to actively combating bad. Of course, one cannot dedicate all of your time fighting bad, because life is not only about fighting, but also about living, family, work, beautiful things like gardening and bird watching. So good people have to make choices as to what bad things they're going to oppose. Because clearly they cannot actively oppose all bad things, because then there'll be no life to live. They have to prioritize. So these priorities are determined by a range of individual personal factors. One's immediate environment, one's preferences, one's love, one's passion, one's friends or family. And this is why, on 25 November, I will be walking from the Pretoria Art Museum to the Union Buildings with others in a march to protest the extraordinarily high levels of farm murders in South Africa, which at the time of making this video amounts to 76 murders on South African farms so far this year. Now some of you may wonder why. Why again? Didn't we just have a hashtag Black Monday? Indeed, we did. But here's the difference. Black Monday was about visibility. It was about showing respect and compassion to the victims of the murders and their families. The march on 25 November is about handing a memorandum to the President of South Africa with specific suggestions for action. So basically, Black Monday was about reaction, and the 25th of November is about action. One very upsetting aspect of Black Monday to me was the way in which the issue at hand was in many cases, and by a great many influential people, opportunistically ignored for the sake of focusing on the rare and isolated incidents of displays of old South African flags, which eventually were proven to be even rarer than first thought, because many of the images attributed to Black Monday were in fact stock footage from years ago. As if the calls of so many people to end the senseless murders of so many people can at once be delegitimized by the isolated and senseless provocation of a single displayed icon. How is it that waving a flag can justifiably delegitimize an entire movement that has nothing to do with the flag? And if it's that simple, I should be able to find out which slogan, image or icon is most offensive to every good cause in South Africa and pitch at these protests, brandishing that icon and thus delegitimizing the entire cause. Is it really that easy? And why do we thus crave for unrelated iconography to neutralize the good intentions of good people using their good time to fight bad? And who is it that craves the delegitimization of the cause of good people, this cause against murder? Well, that's also what I intend to find out for myself on 25 November. Let me make this clear. I dissociate in advance with all and any icons, flags or slogans that are displayed on 25 November. Furthermore, I would like it to be known that I regard the display of any such iconography as a direct attack on this movement, and that those who display this are actively exerting themselves in opposition to this burning issue. Let there be no doubt, this is about farm murders and nothing else. Let me further make it clear that my opposition to farm murders does not mean I'm okay with any other murder, any more than wearing a pink breast cancer awareness icon means I feel prostate cancer is a good thing or even just less important. Farm murders touches me personally. A friend of mine was killed on his farm this year. My uncle, a farmer, was murdered a few years ago. And our farm, and like many other farmers, live in fear because of the unusual vulnerability that comes with living out in the sticks, far from help, where no one can hear you scream out your last breath. And so, that's why I've chosen to dedicate some of my good time to actively fighting this bad thing. And while I respect that you may not be able to or would not particularly want to dedicate yourself to my cause of opposing the brutal murder of a sector of our society, I ask that you please respect my right to do so. And finally, if you actively oppose me protesting the murder of people in this cause, it is good for me to know who you are. You, who feel that it's okay that these murders occur. If that's the least I can get from this march, my good time will have been well spent. And for you who understand my plea, who care and who can, please join me on the 25th of November in this action against these murders.